Has now been solved, finally. Kinds of different combinations of things to see if we could figure out what the deal was. That was the most rancid smell. I think it was worse than sewer gas. Who would have thought it would be something as simple as that? Fresh as a summer breeze. Awesome. Angela and I have been sitting here discussing something that was recently a problem and has now been solved, finally.
Yay.
We have been living here since January. And before we moved here, we had a washer installed. We started experiencing a really unpleasant smell whenever we would run the bathroom fan. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So, with the shower being right here, the bathroom over here, and every time we would open up the fan, as you do for the shower to draw the air out, a gassy, are you having a, cat's having a problem here. A gassy smell would build up in here, and we couldn't figure out why, like sewer smell. And it was really bad sometimes. Sometimes it wasn't as bad, but it was really bad, and it would kind of linger and come into the closet and hang out there. Kinds of different combinations of things to see if we could figure out what the deal was. We'd close this door here to the bedroom and see, and yet somehow or another, I guess there's still a gap down there. We're figuring it was getting through into the bedroom. Sometimes you'd smell it here in this area, but not so much. You know, checking the bathroom to see that there was, water in the bowl so that no gases could seep up there. Even sniffed around there to, gross, trying to figure out, trying to figure this thing out. It was such a mystery. And it took all the way till, here we are, April 23rd, to finally figure this thing out. I researched on the internet trying to find out what you could do about it. Some people talked about, sterilizing your black water tank using a chlorine mixture. So I got some chlorine and ran a little mixture in there. And at first that seemed, I should say like the first day, I thought, oh, success. And then it didn't work. And so I tried other chemicals like something called Tank Blaster and different things of flushing that black water tank out, filling that thing up, flushing it until it was like clean as drinking water almost. It was like just driving us nuts. It turns out that it was kind of an off and on thing, and so when we thought we had solved the problem, then next time there it was back again. It was just driving us nuts. Calling the dealer, asking them for tips, figuring that they would know, selling RVs all the time, and they would say things, well, make sure that you're using a chemical in there, and some of them would say, I don't know, what did one of them say, Angela, like formaldehyde, make sure formaldehyde was in it. Another guy would say, it doesn't matter whether there's formaldehyde in it, just got to be a good one. And then make sure you're using lots of water. They'd say, if you're living in your RV, you want to make sure there's lots of water. It's like, okay, these are all helpful. It's like they didn't quite get the gist of our problem.
Well, I think they were doing the best they could.
Well, I think so too, but I think they had this idea that we were just like smelling a fart or something, a little bit, a little bit of a smell. They didn't understand just how bad the smell was. I just don't think they grasped that. And anyway, so I even tried calling Northwood. Northwood's the manufacturer of the Arctic Fox, and the guy had this idea. Well, open up a window, because what's happening is when you just open up one fan and try exhausting the smell, the sewer vent's right up there, and so it's going to also draw in some sewer gas. Well, that didn't make sense to me. If the fan's on exhaust, how is it drawing in sewer smell at the same time? But I thought, okay, these guys know what they're talking about.
Make an RV like that.
Yeah, I don't get.
Open the window each time.
Well, that was the thing I hadn't actually gotten to. But Angela just let the cat out of the bag. So that's what the guy said to me at Northwood was, well, you need to open up a window. And so that the air will come from somewhere else. And I'm thinking, well, all right, that's not going to work so well in February when it's 28 degrees. It's not going to be very pleasant at pulling in icy air into the trailer. So I don't know. So we're still scrambling, trying to figure this out. And I got this idea, well, maybe I'll go up on the roof and just kind of like try to investigate how is that sewer smell wafting across the roof over to the vent up there. So I went up on the roof and I discovered that there was only one vent pipe up there for the black water tank and nothing for the gray water tank. Yeah, I know, you're scratching your head too. Well, come here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So we actually have to go up on the roof for me to show you what I'm talking about. So come on. I'm talking about up here. You can see along the roof the vent that I'm talking about, the sewer vent, that there's that one, but there isn't one anywhere else up on here, which made me very curious. Why in the world do I only have one vent? That's for the black water, and all of these other trailers that you can see around here had a minimum of two, some of them of three. I ended up calling the dealer on that one too. He was perplexed, so he called Northwood, again the makers of the Arctic Fox, and Northwood told him, well, there is a second vent, but they no longer have it come up out of the roof like that. They now have it underneath the cap for the vent for the refrigerator, which is right there. So what he wanted me to do was take the screw gun and remove the 4 screws from up here and take a look at the vent pipe and make sure that it's above the roof line, because if it's not above the roof line, the wind doesn't come by and takes sewer gas and gray water vent gas away. It can be drawn back in. So I'll take this thing apart here and we'll take a look. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to take that off. Alright, so I've taken that off, and you can see down in there, maybe a little bit, not too well, but at the top of the refrigerator there, this is where it vents out to cool off the refrigerator, and there's quite a bit of heat coming out of there, so important. This is the pipe he was talking about. Now, I'll show you a picture here in a minute, but you can see this is cut around here. I did that because this pipe was way down there. It was probably at least that far below this edge, and he was sure that that was the problem. He thought it was pulling the gas out of that pipe down into the wall and sucking it into the trailer. So I got this coupler and put it on here and extended it up above that. I had to cut this hole, like I said, and then he said that should work. And I'm telling you what, when I was up here and I put my nose to that pipe, let me tell you something. That was the most rancid smell. I think it was worse than sewer gas, and that's just the gray water gas. And I said, that's exactly what it is. That is the smell that's coming into the trailer, and specifically, you could smell it back behind the wash machine, which again was a mystery to me. Why there, of all places? So anyway, got that done, put this cap back on, and guess what? I went inside, turned the fan on, and we still had the smell. It was still there. So, of course, I had to call him up again. I mentioned when I was up on the roof that that smell coming out of that vent for the gray water tank was unbelievably rancid. But I was anxious to try it out. Now, I already told you that it didn't work, but I came back down here into the rig and decided to try it out. So I turned the bathroom fan on, and then I came into the bedroom, and then I could smell it. So anyway, I came back here into the laundry room, and so I was smelling really super bad in here, and I got right up and near this pipe, that drain pipe, and it just smelled super rancid. And so I thought that's exactly that same smell that I was getting from up above. So again, I called the dealer about it. He told me to check the P-trap, put some water in the P-trap. Now, it seems like water should have been in the P-trap all along because the washing machine's been working. So I went down below into the compartment where the drain pipe comes down, and I couldn't find a P-trap. It just curved. And so I called back the dealer, and he's thinking, well, maybe they forgot to put a P-trap. So I came back in and noticed that this label on here said there was plumbing access. So I popped those two screws off. And actually the reason I come back here was I was going to stick something in that pipe to plug up the hole so it wouldn't smell. And so I took that panel off and found the P-trap back in there, and I was pulling the drain tube out to see if I could pour some water in there like he said. Again, trying to figure out why in the world would I need to put water in there when the washing machine should be putting water in there. But as I pulled this out, you can see I've got it tied off right here. This whole tube was down in there, so that much more down in there, and it was running all the way to the P-trap. That's what I discovered, is it was shoved way down there. So when I talked to them back at the dealer again about it, he said that absolutely made sense, because if that tube is all the way down there into the P-trap, the force of the water just blowing the water right out of the P-trap, and it doesn't give any water a chance just to sit in there. And so we did pull that out like I showed you, clipped it, tied it off so that it can't fall back down there again. And you know what? I took a shower this morning, and voila, no sewer smell. Boy, am I excited. I've never been so excited in my life. I can turn the fans on, high speed. I was always afraid to even use low speed. And I can go over to the closet here and fresh as a summer breeze. Awesome. So there you have it. Hopefully, and the whole purpose of me doing this video is so that I've got to believe there's somebody out there besides us that's gone through this, because I've never experienced anything that somebody else hasn't already experienced. So my goal, my hope is that this video will help you if you're having a problem with this. Who would have thought it would be something as simple as that? We tried so many things. Like I said, we tried the chlorine and the tank blaster and cleaning that tank out like nobody's business. Turned out to not even be the black water tank, but the gray water tank. And my brother had even told me that the gray water tank sometimes can smell worse than the black water, which I thought, that's hard to believe, but you know what? He was right. It was rancid. But there it is. And the amazing thing is, Mr. Non-do-it-yourselfer, that's me, just stumbled across it by accident. And so, you know, when I talked to the dealer, they did say that it should have been clipped up there. They didn't do that, but that tube should have been clipped up there so that it couldn't slide back down into the drain pipe. So there you have it. And again, I hope that helps you. It helps me. I'm happy. I just want to go turn all the fans on just so I can enjoy no stink.